Now grooves can come from guitar, can come from drums, can come from bass, can come from anywhere really. That's a very important key to how I compose for my band, you know. So the most perfect example is actually a tune that I wrote for my first album, for my first studio album, Ha, and it's the title track. It's called Ha. Now the story behind this is I used to like to watch drummer videos, instructional drummer videos. So this was for Caro and Steve Gadd and everybody. So I watched one of the Steve Gadd videos, instructional videos, and there was a tune there that he was playing. I think it was a slow blues, and he was playing it so slow. You just heard like, and it was perfect. It was really great. So that really kind of got me thinking. And then I was doing a gig in New York somewhere, and at the time I was playing with my drummer Anton Fig, and we played a gig that wasn't my gig. It was just some kind of not a cover band, but playing with a singer and playing covers. So we played a funk groove, and Anton just played a groove that was just quarter note. It was just like boom, boom, and just the same with the bass drum. And it sounded so funky to me that I was like, I gotta write something over it. So what I did is I came home and I came up with a groove that was basically, it's just quarter notes, like boom, ksh, boom, ksh, you know? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So that to me is really inspiring. When you hear a groove like that, to me that already sounds like, oh, okay, I can write something on it, you know? Although there's nothing there, there's no chops, there's nothing. To me, that's really groovy. So, again, I went back to whatever tapes I had when I recorded ideas, and I had this idea that I found somewhere, and it was this thing. Maybe it was a little faster, but then I thought what would happen if I slow it down, I put it with this groove, and that's how the song started, that's how Ha started. So let's just play the groove, and you can hear what I'm talking about. That's how this tune started, and
so it's actually you found the groove that you liked, and then you matched it to a melody that you had previously recorded.
Yes.
So you recorded melodies that just pop up.
Yeah. Well, the melody, the drum groove was the most essential thing. That's what inspired me, and then I found this vamp. Again, it's a vamp. E flat, A flat. I kind of put it on top of it. I do that a lot actually. I take ideas that I have, and then if I think of, I'll show it on the next one also, and then I kind of merge them with grooves. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but in this case, it worked. So then what happened, once I had this groove, again, it's the same story. Once I had this groove, I start writing melodies on top of it. And in this case, I actually wrote a melody on top of the groove. So it was basically, if you play the groove 3, 4. section of the song Ha. The way I write is a lot of times I think about, okay, what grooves I haven't recorded before, you know? That's a lot of the stuff that kind of comes up in my head, because I already did a lot of James Brown grooves, I already did swing, whatever. So I thought about doing kind of like a more R&B kind of Al Green kind of groove, you know, and write a tune on that kind of groove. So then, again, I thought about that kind of, is it Love and Happiness, maybe? Yeah. Something like that, a kind of Al Green thing. And I was like, oh, I'd like to write something on that kind of groove. So again, the same thing, I think I programmed the drum beat on my Pro Tools to have it. And then I looked into my tapes, whatever I had, and I found this thing that I had that was this chord changes that sounded, to me it's a vamp, but it already had some kind of melody over the chord, so it was this thing. This could work really good with the Al Green groove. So I just put them together and then I was like, wow, that works really good. So let's do it. 2, 3. And then, in terms of the bass line, I think what I did is once I did the melody, I just kind of messed around with the bass line until I came up with boom 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 boom, you know. But then again, when I bring it to the band, they make it better. So when we recorded the tune, Willie played bass, so he made that part more alive, and then Dave Weckl played drums, so he added some kicks into that. That's not going to sound exactly like the Al Green thing, you know. 2, 3, 4. Actually for years, to be honest. And then I thought it was just a little, there needs to be something in the middle there. So eventually I wrote this kind of chordal thing in the middle, like a halftime swing. But that's again was heavily inspired by the drum groove. Actually I thought about writing the tune from a drum groove. And then I found this idea that I had. Cool. So now, again, there's plenty of tunes that I write that come out of just guitar vamps. I guess everything comes out of guitar vamp. But this next one is called Say What. It's actually from the same record, from the Ha record. And I think the idea was I wanted to write something that was in a minor key. It was kind of like based off, in a kind of weird way of So What, because it's just 2 chords that go half a step up. And I wanted to do kind of a fast James Brown groove, but I wanted to put a bass line that would kind of make sense, not the usual stuff. And again, I programmed some kind of a beat at home, and I just had a key center really, I just had C. And then I came up with basically with this bass line. think about it now, I remember the first thing I had was actually the guitar riff. I had this thing. I had this thing. That was basically, it kind of started with a guitar thing, but then it didn't go anywhere. It was just this. So then it didn't do anything for me, and I put a drum beat on top of it, and it still didn't do anything. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to use it. But then once I figured out this bass line, I was like, okay, I got something here. That kind of made the whole thing for me. So again, that's like another way of, you get inspired by a bass line actually to keep writing, And this tune is, again, it's based on this line, and then there's all these like complicated kicks and lines in the middle, but yeah, that we're not going to get into on this one. But the thing is, on this song, for example, the vamps are the vamps and the lines come between the vamps. So that's like the same thing we were talking about, but like riding around.
Connects together.
Yeah.
There's no separation there.
Yeah. And again, this whole idea, I'm not into chops and all the fancy stuff. To me, a lot of that stuff doesn't sound clear, and it doesn't sound like it's grooving. Even if somebody does, if somebody does it really well, it's impressive. But that's not what inspires me to write. What inspires me to write, it's more like stuff like this,
Keep
like
it simple.
Simple but groovy. And then when it's simple, when you have a simple background, then you can get really complicated and like intricate and all that stuff within. But you have space. You have something that supports it. Instead of having everybody doing all this too many notes and too much stuff, and then everything's complicated, you don't even know where to start. That's kind of really how I write everything,
Okay.
So.